Bobby Omar. I am excited to have you here. We didn't have any, cool musical drill. Like, I mean, I don't have that, but maybe with AI, I can start getting some of those things put together. Our topic today is leveraging AI, ChatGPT, and other awesome tools for brand building on LinkedIn. We hope you join us. This is live streaming everywhere: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or shitter, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it. See, Darren, I swore for you. I did that just for you. He's like, Bobby, can I swear? I'm like, yeah, go for it, man. I don't care. Just do what you want. So if you're joining in, comment below. Let us know where you're from. Are you from, North America, South America, Australia, India, Asia, Europe, Africa? Let us know where you're from. And then, of course, you can get into some of the questions with these people who we're going to talk about, are we experts or not? I mean, I don't know. We'll figure this out. So we'll have that conversation. But let's start with some introductions. I'll start with you, Darren, and then Joshua. Please introduce yourself to this wonderful audience.
Hello, pretend wonderful audience. Lovely to see you all. So my name's Darren Gibb. Very quick, I suppose, about me. I was a high school teacher for 10 years. I live in Spain. I started teaching businesses English here in Spain. Pandemic hit. Oh shit, what am I going to do? So upskilled myself and really learned about digital marketing. Got a background in sales as well. That's what brings me here. So I'm primarily a LinkedIn teacher. I don't like the word coach because I was a teacher, but really this is why I don't feel comfortable. We're talking in the green room about this. I wouldn't say I feel in this. Hey, Najek, nice to see you, brother. I don't feel necessarily comfortable being called an expert because I think there's a lot of bullshit out there. I'm not convinced somebody can be a expert with really a year and a few months experience. We were just saying there with my brother here, Joshua B. Lee, was saying, well, look, an expert, that's those men and women who are working in LLMs, working in AI for years. They're the experts. We are getting there. We're a good few steps ahead of perhaps the average person because we're absolute fucking nerds, but we're still not experts. So I built a content generation bot because, again, marrying my content, social selling, people find copywriting difficult. I built a bot using AI no-code tools, which I think we'll talk about later on, and built this incredible bot that writes content at scale for you, 3 minutes per post, and it's written like you, sounds like you, and sounds arrogant, but it's beautiful as well. So that is me. Joshua B. Lee, tell us about yourself, my friend.
Oh, look, Darren just jumping right in. Bobby's taking over for you, brother.
I know, it's good. It's good, man. That's why he's in the middle.
Exactly. Well, and I have to just make this one statement too, because Darren, you talked about experts. I go, the reason why we're not experts is because AI is here. Everyone's a freaking expert. They don't know what, I mean, they just go in there like, oh, well, what do I want to be an expert on today? What we are and what I would say we're authorities, right? And I want to be an authority. I don't want to be an expert anymore because the bar has been raised because of AI, right? So I think that's the difference that we have to people come to us because, look, they're asking, who we are, what we do, and because we have some background and being able to facilitate that. So, for me, I'm Joshua B. Lee. I was donned the title, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn many years ago on a podcast. It kind of just stuck based on how I actually work on LinkedIn. I kind of went through and got rid of the B2B and B2C and realized, look, there's only H2H. Every company is run by another human being. Most marketers forget that, especially now with AI. So, my background, when you kind of go through, y'all, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. I mean, I wish I could say I was an amazing teacher. Darren, I tried that during COVID with my kids. I realized I did not appreciate my teachers enough because I needed my kids to go to a teacher because I was not that one, right? So, but I mean, one of my first clients, y'all, to be able to give a little background, is a company that most people forgot about, MySpace, right? So I actually helped them to design one of the first social media ads they used to be able to monetize their traffic 20 years ago. So I've done it. If there's been any type of monetization and any acronym, CPA, CPM, CPL, I mean, I could go through. I probably monetized it. And honestly, I realized really quickly, if I make money my main goal, it's not going to be the end result, right? That needs to be the byproduct of what we do. And that's where I found LinkedIn. It was a place that most people were in a black hole kind of going through. And it was like, dude, we got to be able to figure out how do we actually humanize the way we're online, just not monetize it. So that's it, y'all. I'm excited. Ask anyway, and I guarantee you listen in. This is going to be a fiery. I don't have my good accent in there, so I'll stop that after that one conversation.
Fiery, I like that. That's good. All right. Well, listen. My name is Bobby Omar. I am a motivational speaker by trade. I've done 1,000 keynotes, across 4 continents over 20 years. And I'm a 5-time TEDx speaker. And for the last couple of years, I was helping people with personal branding, storytelling, and thought leadership, including digital leadership on LinkedIn and Twitter, places like that. But now my focus is TEDx Talks. I land people at TEDx Talks guaranteed. It's the flagship for building your personal brand, sharing your life story, and building thought leadership of who you are. So that's what I'm doing now. But I am also the founder of the Thought Leadership Brand Club, which is a membership community where people get together and they share knowledge, they get support, they're building their brands or they're building their careers in different ways, whether it's relationships, personal branding, digital presence, storytelling, and mindset or more. And we have weekly calls on Zoom on Thursdays, which actually these guys have both been there to share something. And if you guys want to come by this Thursday, we have a new time, actually, 10 a.m. Kamalika Potter, who is a LinkedIn top voice for multiple years, and she has 60,000 followers on her newsletter for FinTech. She's going to talk about how to be a content creator and have a full-time job in terms of the success she's had. Because she's in India, it's going to be at 10 a.m. versus our normal 4 p.m. So I'll share the link in the chat. When you click on it, it's you'll book it for 4 p.m., but it's actually at 10 a.m. So just use the same Zoom link, and just so you know. So let's get right into this topic. I mean, look, AI and ChatGPT are very hot topics and trends. People want to talk about it. And I can tell you, like, my personal experience has been the expertise thing. I mean, there are experts out there, and there's different levels of expertise, because I think that for me, I dabble, and there's other people who are more aficionados, and there's other people who are doing it for a living. But I think that, for me, the things I'm using it for right now I'm using Cast Magic, which is great because whenever I do a live stream and whenever I do any sort of training session, I use Cast Magic. It summarizes the entire event. It gives me all the timestamps. It gives me the key takeaways. I love it. It's very simple to put in the YouTube link, which I then send to my members. That to me is awesome. The other one I just started using is called Opus Clips. I haven't really done as much with it, but I'm taking these live streams and then coming up with clips. But I haven't actually. I just joined it like maybe a couple weeks ago on a recommendation. We were discussing different types between that and video and other ones. And what I'm finding is that the thing I've noticed is that when it comes to AI tools, they're changing so fast that even if you're not sure what one or the other, you can join one and they'll start making adjustments to it right away. So already, like, Opus Clip has added stuff in the last 2 weeks to it. It's like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I kind of want to get from you guys, and everyone else who's listening in, share your thoughts, share where you're from, and ask questions. But I'll start with Joshua, and then we'll go to Darren. I want to understand, talk a bit about AI and ChatGPT tools in your day and in your week. Like, how does it manifest itself in terms of how you're using it?
Yeah, brother. I mean, I was just talking to my teammate as well. Like, oh yeah, we use Opus Clips. Love it. I wish I could say I cut all my content, but a lot of the content that we create, we've got an amazing team being able to help us. And look, our team uses a lot of AI to be able to do this stuff. I mean, I use it personally, from ChatGPT, trying to be able to go through, to really being able to do research on what I'm trying to be able to create, what's going on. I mean, the cool thing, is that Jasper.ai, like, I know we talk about ChatGPT, but Jasper's been around for a lot longer. And I mean, those guys are here in Austin, Texas with me. I mean, my buddies are the ones that started that. And when you're talking about a platform where you don't actually understand how to be able to build all your prompts, be able to go through them, I'll tell y'all, like, Jasper, like, they got the best copywriters in the world to be able to go through and be able to share their experiences and how they do things, to be from doing a Facebook ad to writing a bio to creating a newsletter, whatever it is. They put those prompts in and took that knowledge from some of the best in the world and then put it in there to be able to make it easier for everyone. I mean, because that's the whole thing. Like, Darren can actually probably tell you the same thing. Like, it takes a lot. Like, if you think one sentence is going to be a prompt that's actually going to create what you need, you're going to be doing a lot of sentences. I mean, like, half my things are multiple paragraphs. Being able to go through to feed the AI, because look, I mean, I use it every day. My team uses it all the time. Like, dude, Bobby, I'm very blessed. I get to work with a lot of the 1% of the people in the world to be them on LinkedIn specifically. I mean, men and women, I used to read their books on how to be able to start our own companies years ago. I'm going to tell you what's amazing with AI, how we use it. If I need to be able to find information, if I want to be able to look and understand the entire, arc of Bobby Umar, dude, instead of me searching for it, I can use ChatGPT and start getting a timeline of you, Bobby, to be able to understand who you are, what you do, the type of mannerisms, all those aspects. That's what's important. You talk about branding, like, dude, like this is going to help people be able to understand their audience better than before. I look at it, AI, it's not everyone's like, oh, AI is going to replace us. And Darren can probably say the same thing. It's amazing, but it's not an appliance. It's a tool. And the tool in the right hands is like a paintbrush, like in a master painter's hands, right? It can create a masterpiece, or it can be like my kids and do some finger painting, right? And then cause destruction. So that's kind of where I see it, brother.
Yeah.
How about you, Darren?
Yeah, a lot of agreement with what you're saying there, Joshua. It certainly can replace us. There's no doubt about it. I think as we hit AGI, artificial general intelligence, the general benchmark being that it's able to do things beyond what we can. As we get closer to there, yeah, there's going to be a lot of upheaval, a lot of replacements. And this is just something that, unfortunately, we have to learn to adapt to as humans. I mean, I always say, go back 25 years. If you used to type a question into a search engine, you'd get a shite response, let's be honest. Whereas if you knew how to do a Boolean search, for example, you'd get a far more accurate response. And I think it's the same for ChatGPT. People who feel ChatGPT's okay or it's not that mind-blowing, typically they're simply not prompting it the right way and they don't know how to prompt. And I think this is what there's a real lack in, is a lack of prompting education. But if I go back to my analogy about Google 25 years ago, now you can just put a question in, or you can put a question into Gemini, for example, and you're going to get a damn good response. So prompt engineering is something that I'm really on the fence about here, Joshua and Bobby. Yes, it's important, but I'm not sure how important it's going to be in just a few years' time. So that's something that we have to contend with. To Bobby's point, yeah, there's AI updates all the damn time. It's absolutely amazing for us. But to go back to to Joshua's point about his team, Video.ai, Opus Clips, look, they're pretty mind-blowing, yes, but actually the content it delivers tends to be crap. And I'm going to put my neck out here. It's not great content. It's lovely how it formats it, puts it in the right way, adds on captions. But my gripe at the moment is it's not actually capturing those holy shit moments. It's kind of capturing anything. And this is the thing. It's trying to use its machine learning to work out what would be valuable. But out of 70 clips it might throw you, only 3 or 4 might be useful. Now, if I have to go through those 70 clips to find those 3 useful ones, would I be quicker just going through it myself and cutting it up manually? And that's a question I think we must be asking ourselves. Yes, AI is mind-blowing. Yes, we should be using it, but how do we use it? What do we still need that human touch for? How do I use it? I create my content through it. I use Midjourney to create those images with me myself. I use In-Face Swapper to put my stupid little face onto the version of it. I use some good prompting. I'll give it all away. A man in his 30s. Never mind, I'm 40 in a couple of months' time, for Christ's sake. I'm a man in my 30s, ladies and gentlemen. A man in his 30s with long dark hair and a beard. And it tends to throw up some pretty decent things for me. I face swap into. Now, what's got me personally excited in the last few months is Runway ML. You are able to just upload an image from Midjourney or a normal image, and you've got 5 different motion brushes you can use, which means you can animate 5 different sections of that image. Now, for content marketing, when we're in the attention economy, grabbing that attention, stopping that scroll, GIFs tend to do better than static images. This is a customized, personalized version of a GIF. You could even put it into a meme as well. So that's the kind of things that I would say I use it for regularly. Midjourney, Runway ML, Pika Labs now and again, some really nice video stuff in there. ChatGPT, obviously. I use a ChatGPT API within my own AI tools, but these are the things I use. Daily, Zapier. Everyone should be on Zapier. And I think this is the crux of it right here. If you're a solopreneur and you're not able to afford a team like Joshua's got filming them at the moment, the AI tools are phenomenal. For a few $100 a month, you can have what would just 2 years ago you'd have spent a few K every month on people doing for you. So yes, it gets us to that stage. I would always tell my clients, it gets us to that stage where we're able to be having monthly recurring income that we're able to actually employ some people with the help of AI to make it faster. And I think that's the key. So yes, absolutely. All in for AI, of course. I teach it, I live, I breathe it. But again, we need to maintain, how do we remain relevant and important in this? If it is just clicking a button and it creates excellent results, as a lot of stuff is already in AI, what makes us different? And that's where I feel the marketing, the branding, the marketing strategy really does set us apart.
Well said, brother.
Let me just throw something at you right now, because look, as someone who is dabbling in AI tools, what you just said in the last 10 minutes was awesome, but overwhelms me.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people are going to go like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, whoa, okay. I just took notes. What the heck is that? So maybe, like, let's be honest here. Like, I'm a solopreneur. I mean, I have some VAs help with some admin stuff, but I'm a solopreneur. I do a lot of my stuff. I do love saving time. I mean, for me, even if OpenScript gives me 40 clips, I can scan pretty quickly. What's the one that, quickly listen to the one. I'm just glad it put it all together for me, which I don't want to do. Download it, post it, and I can quickly come up with my own copy. I also love, and ChatGPT. One of the problems with ChatGPT is everyone thinks of ChatGPT and they're like, but they're using the basic one. And and actually it was you, Taryn, who told me to upgrade. And when you came to the TLB Zoom room that we did, I was like, okay, fine, I'll pay for it, because I'm a cheap ass. And so I did. I was like, whoa, this is way better. I was like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. And I was like, okay, this is worth it. I totally get it. But there's other people who are doing things. Well, ChatGPT is not doing a good job here, But I use ChatGPT to create newsletters and to cite stats and to gather information in a way that I don't want to do. So I think that's really, really a good thing. But I want to go back to the fact that I'm overwhelmed. So maybe, what would you guys suggest for people who are overwhelmed? We have some questions coming in the feed now. I'll post in a second. But for people who are feeling overwhelmed like I am, what's a good place to start? Do you start with maybe a video content tool, or do you start with a prompting course? Like, what would you suggest?
I would personally suggest a very exclusive LinkedIn and AI bootcamp I will be launching. You're the first people to know about this. I will be launching it. I will be teaching you LinkedIn strategy coupled with AI aimed at the solopreneurs and SMB owners. That will be launched in the future. But look, more importantly, I would be finding Matt Wolf. Matt Wolf on YouTube is absolutely fucking brilliant. This guy is nerdy, cute, nice wee guy, but he doesn't go and overload you. He's very much, he breaks things through. He shares his opinions. I learned a lot from Matt Wolf on YouTube when I was starting out, and I still continue to watch his stuff regularly. Subscribe to some, either if you're on Twitter, Ronan Chung is really good. Subscribe to some people. Just spend an hour finding some people in the AI space that you like what they're saying, and it's simple. And start following them. Just give yourself 15 minutes a day. I promise you, 15 minutes a day, you'll become an AI expert within 6 months quite easily, right? So that would be my advice. And yeah, actually invest in yourselves. Invest in a boot camp. Invest in courses, workshops. I wouldn't recommend doing one of these digital courses that you download for $27 and never bloody use. If you're going to do it, I would be saying do a boot camp. Again, this is the teacher, the pedagogy in me coming in. Go into a boot camp where you're being taught live and there's workshop elements for you to experiment, mess around, make mistakes, fail, learn from others, get instruction. If you're serious about AI, that's what I would do. But starting off wise, I'd say Matt Wolf on YouTube and Ronan Chung on Twitter. That'd be my advice. Joshua.
I love it.
Yeah, well, I love that you say Matt. I've known Matt for probably a decade. When we talk about who gave me my title, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn, that was on Matt's podcast.
No
with Joe.
way.
Yeah,
No way.
so Matt's a good friend of mine. Him and Joe on their old podcast before he switched over to AI were the ones that actually I talked to about what I do on LinkedIn. And the title comes out, Joshua B. Lee, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn. So
See,
Matt
I'm
Wolf
coming
is
at this from a fanboy perspective, to be honest. Matt
oh,
was the
well,
first
I
person.
can introduce you, brother.
Oh,
You know, Matt's
dude,
good.
please.
Good people.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, no.
Matt was the person that
And
when I was looking for AI, honest to God, Joshua, it was like, geez, I really like this dude. So for you to,
yeah,
that's cool as hell. Wow. Sorry, yes. Give me an
yeah,
introduction,
brother.
please.
No, it's go back and if you go search on Google, you'll probably find our old podcast. I mean, it's still like ranked #1. But like seriously, like you're 100% correct. Matt's really done his time, right? He's put in his 10,000 hours, and he does go through that in a way that shares, right? Like he's not going in talking about him and actually, hey, here's what I learned, here's what I played with, right? Like this is why I talked about earlier with Jasper. Like people go in, Jasper is I think 120 a month. But I mean, I'm going to tell you, like, it gives you the training wheels. It's like when you're bowling, right? Like who uses the bumpers? Well, we're all going for the same thing. Why not everyone use the bumpers in the bowling alley to make sure you hit the pins every single time, right? I mean, like, why not do that? Like, it's like I'm trying to be able to hit the pins. What's the best way to be able to do that? And so, like, that's what Jasper did. They did all that research for us, being able to go through. I mean, like, when I start team members out, that's the first thing I give them. I don't give them access to ChatGPT. I'm like, they might play around with it, but I'm like, okay, what can I actually teach them to be able to learn, to look for, to be able to make these things that are going through? So like, that's kind of what I look at. And I mean, you know, look, there are so many different places, so many different experts out there. I mean, like most times, Darren, I just, go in and ask ChatGPT, hey, how do I learn about can you tell me how I should learn about you? I mean, this is the way we're kind of going into it, but dude, you're right. I mean, like what we're experiencing right now is such a small portion of the true power of AI. I mean, generative AI, we all know that's coming. And I mean, this is the one thing I want people to pay attention to. Yes, I use AI a lot. I really spend a lot of my time seeing how LinkedIn specifically is leveraging AI, because I don't think people are paying attention to what really is going on over there. Like LinkedIn's the most powerful platform currently right now. If you're trying to be able to leverage AI and get access and I want to be in the algorithm, right, guys? Because like we all know, like Microsoft bought LinkedIn many years ago, 24.6 billion. I think their value is almost like 88 billion now. So it's crazy the valuation they've gone to. Microsoft also invested in another small company called OpenAI, right? They own ChatGPT. I've been blessed. I've kind of worked with the team on the beta side of some of the stuff that's coming out and talked to the people in the AI. Like LinkedIn is doing what we all like. Well, I say we all, the guys here that are listening, and a lot of people know that Elon didn't buy X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? To be able to own a social media platform. He bought it to understand and index the human algorithm on there for his next AI. That's really why he bought it. Now, did he do a good job? No, he screwed. He did pretty crazy. He pissed off a lot of people. Most of us used to love it. And now we're like, I don't know, right? Like we've got to hide. But I mean, like what Microsoft and OpenAI are doing with LinkedIn, dude, like guys, I don't know if y'all are playing around like with collaborative articles. Like I was sitting down with LinkedIn. Like I don't think this is like information I'm not supposed to share, but LinkedIn's the basis of where their generative AI search will come from when they launch it in about a year or two, right? LinkedIn will be the base. And what they're using is collaborative articles and gamifying that on LinkedIn to be able to index everyone. I want to be the person that the results, when you search on AI, my name comes up. I want my information. Can I build an AI like Darren? Yeah, I can, but then I'm going to compete against Darren, right? Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to compete against the other million people. I want to be the what's coming out. So like, it's crazy how they're doing it, how they're indexing and what they're doing and where they're actually taking it. I think LinkedIn's going to be the platform that hits it first out of the park, especially for generative AI when they actually launch. Because again, Microsoft, I mean, I'm not going to bet against them. And so we all saw too. I mean, like who saw recently, right? The founder of OpenAI lost and all of a sudden he had a job at Microsoft. Dude, you're kidding yourself if you don't think that Microsoft owns OpenAI. Mm-hmm. I mean, Darren, we can go in any way, man. What do y'all think?
Well, first off, thanks for all these updates. So many people commenting and sharing questions, which is great. I want to address one thing which came up, and this is of course your lovely partner,
My
Rachel.
wife.
Yeah, your wife. I mean, I wish my wife would watch my stuff. She's like, I don't want to watch all that.
No
leadership
way,
TV.
Rachel's your wife. I never knew that. I'm connected. Jeez, this is a small world.
Yeah.
Matt Wolf, Rachel
Rachel
Beasley.
B. Lee,
Well,
and Joshua B. Lee.
they're adorable. Get a room, guys. It's adorable. But anyway, where are the women? It's a great question. I mean, I'm a big, huge proponent of diversity, and I didn't. But you mentioned Matt Wolf. You mentioned a couple of people's names. I mean, I would love to know some of the amazing women who are leading the way in the AI ChatGPT world. Can you guys help me with that? Because I'd love to learn more about that.
I know there are a lot of I talked to a lot of amazing women that are in there as I'm trying to go through. Darren, come on, I'll let you go first, buddy.
There are a few on YouTube, but names will evade me right now that are good. Look, I think we need to actually be honest here. Rachel's absolutely fucking right, but when we look at STEM subjects, what is it, about 20% are women? God knows how many are white male. I mean, there's not a lot of diversity. This is why, especially with ChatGPT 3.5, we saw it at times just give incredibly misogynistic answers. Midjourney 4, even Midjourney 5. If you prompted for a man with long hair, he'll always be white. It's only now we're actually beginning to see different ethnicities incorporated within it. So the AI has been trained, obviously, 3.5 especially, being trained on the cesspit that is the internet. That's why we did see such racist, homophobic, XYZ, ABC and things coming out of it. There definitely is a problem with diversity in Silicon Valley. I don't think that's a secret. I think it's quite well known. I think it's really important that, absolutely, to Rachel's point, that we have more diversity, we have more female engineers actually helping to drive this forward. But for some reason, yes, the AI space unfortunately does seem to be quite male dominated, and I hate to say it, I think there probably is quite a bit of misogyny within there as well, and these are things that I think we should be actively looking to fight against. And I think that actively be making sure that we're promoting, that we are actually bringing into the equation. On LinkedIn, I can give you a lot. Audrey Chia, absolutely brilliant. Think she's awesome at what she does. Celeste Yamesti, absolutely brilliant, from Mexico. She is superb. There are Svetlana as well. It's a Swedish name. I forget her surname there. 3 off the top of my head that on LinkedIn we're seeing. I see a lot more diversity within AI on LinkedIn, and I certainly do on YouTube and other things as well. So yeah, that would kind of, to Rachel's question, that would get my question there. Yeah.
Well, Darren, I mean, that's the whole piece, right? Like, we need to understand, like right now, I mean, like you said, like eventually, yes, I think it might get there. But, like as human beings, we make decisions based on some degree of love or hate. We do not make decisions being indifferent. Most of the content that you see that puts out there from AI currently, based on prompting and things like that, is very indifferent content. There's no emotional tie or no emotional triggers. And so let's be honest, like, women have a better emotional tie most times than us as men. And so we need to be able to have a lot more women being able to come in and be able to share and really being able to add that value of diversity and education that a lot of times as men we miss. And if we continue to be able to see it, I mean, you look at LinkedIn, like I love not only being able to work with amazing, powerful women, but also being able to, see how much they shine when they shine on LinkedIn, right? Like, but we know that 80% of what we see on there is guys. And we need, I got two young daughters. My daughter's 11. My youngest daughter is 5 months old. Bobby asked me about it this morning. Like, I'm kind of getting sleep and things like that. But like, we need amazing, powerful women standing up and showing up. And the 3 of us, need to be those ambassadors to be able to work with them, right? To be both sides of that coin, to be able to continue to be able to change this space for the better.
And I think that's important for us, and you've done this, is to address this issue and tackle it head on. I mean, one of the big things about diversity that I'm big on is, if we're not able to get the representation we want, we have to be allies. And so, men, white men have to stand up for non-white people, and men have to stand up for women, and we have to get more people that diverse voices. And this segues nicely into the next, because we do this thing every month. And next month is Women's History Month. And so our talk is going to be featuring 3 really amazing women leaders. That's the focus. And so that's what it's going to be about. I'll be there just facilitating, but I'm going to get the women to share their stories. But yeah, I think when I was reaching out initially, I was just thinking of the people that had already come into our rooms and Zooms and done stuff. So it was an easy thing for me to do. But I think being allies and advocating for this and talking about it. And, I see Corey here has shared a whole bunch of names, which is great. So we do appreciate that. And I'm glad that you guys look at now. If you're just
Bobby,
joining
this is why I always have my wife, join these things too.
She's
She
awesome.
can always really spark amazing conversations.
My wife,
put us in oh crap. We better make sure we know how to respond to this answer. She's
if my wife was here, she'd probably honest. If my wife was here, she'd be saying the same things and calling me on stuff. So that I'm not sure about that. but listen, if you're just listening in, we're talking about leveraging AI, ChatGPT, and other awesome tools for brand building on LinkedIn and beyond. We have some 2 awesome, really passionate advocates for AI and ChatGPT tools, and Joshua and Darren here. And this is brought to you by the Thought Leadership Brand Club, where we're broadcasting everywhere across LinkedIn, Twitter, and other places. And if you want to learn more about the Thought Leadership Brand Club, follow our company page here on LinkedIn. You can also join our Zoom room tomorrow at 10 a.m. with featuring Kamal Kapoor, LinkedIn Top Voice, talking about her fintech career and how she's been able to create a content creator profile as well as having a full-time job. So that's going to be a really great discussion. I'll share the link in the comments shortly. We love all the comments that people are sharing, which is great. You've been sharing some really great names here. Now, some people are asking questions, and I want to make sure we get this one. And I know people are answering the questions too, which is really nice. But I do want to make sure that we, try to just showcase the questions. This is from Sonia. How are you deciding which AI to work with? Some say to stick, and we kind of already dabbled in this, but I want to get you to answer this. Some say stick ChatGPT and Gemini, and they have a lot of money behind them and replace everyone. That means a lot of further development still. What do you guys think?
I mean, if I'm
I think it's up to you.
Go ahead, Darren.
No, go ahead, Joshua. Sorry, there's a delay here. You go ahead, mate.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go, Joshua. Sorry, I have to facilitate now. Go Joshua, and then we'll go to Darren.
Thank you, Bob. You got to help us here, brother. You got to give us.
Sorry.
Look, again, I use ChatGPT, I use Jasper, I use Claude. The one I'm actually playing around with, just because, again, I talked about that whole power behind it. We're looking at right here, right? What has money behind it? Did anyone pay attention? There was one Super Bowl commercial around AI that I don't think many people paid attention to. It was Copilot, right? Not many people are. I've been playing around with it, Darren. I'm not sure if you have, but it's pretty epic on what it's doing, where it's going. And again, we're talking about, I know there's people in this world, they're like, screw Microsoft, screw Bill Gates. Guess what, y'all? I'm telling you right now, there's a reason why they're the most valued by monetary company. They're a $3 trillion plus business. If you're betting against Microsoft, you're betting on the wrong horse. And so I want everyone to pay attention to, yes, Google's shiny, fancy. We see Google, we see Gemini, right? ChatGPT's been everywhere, and Claude, I've liked Claude too, because now I can use multiple different ones of AI to be able to go through. But I've been playing around with, being able to go through with what Microsoft's doing with Copilot. I'm telling you, don't sleep on it. They got some new stuff that's coming out that's going to be different than anyone else. So just my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're in the age now to answer Sonia's question. It's about really knowing what you want to get out of your AI. I think that's key. And I think it's a little bit of testing, experimentation. As a general rule of thumb, ChatGPT 4 is very good at coding, for example. Gemini Advanced is meant to give that a run for its money. Perplexity, I think, is excellent for research, as you can really go in and it's not just giving you facts, but you can go back in and actually have a look at it. Sophie's mentioning Anthropic's Claude 2. I think Claude 2 is very good at copywriting, however, not so good at other things. So each of these large language models, LLMs, have their own advantages and disadvantages. What Copilot, formerly Bing, and now Gemini is trying to do, it is trying to bring everything together. And quite simply, for me, it comes down to, if you run Windows and have a shit ton of PowerPoints and Word documents and Excel files, Copilot is going to be your main way of doing it. You will still use ChatGPT for some things, Anthropic's Claude for others, and so on. But I'd imagine a few years down the line, or a year down the line, Copilot will be for everything. Subsequently, if you have most of your things in Google Drive, it's going to be Gemini Advanced. Now, let me very quickly piss on Google's parade. I think Gemini is awful. I don't like it. I've done quite a bit of A/B split testing with it. ChatGPT takes it every single time. Gemini Advanced still can't do the classic LLM question. If I have 20, what is it? If I have 20 shirts, and put them in the sun, how long would X take to dry? Gemini Advanced still can't do that, what seems like relatively basic math. So it depends. Also, Gemini doesn't have interaction for workspaces. So my darrengibb.com account, I can't integrate all my Google Drive folders, files, and so on in there. When we can start to do that, then I think that we're really beginning to cook with gas and we can see what we're able to do. But to go back to, I think it was Sophie's question, it's really just a case of testing out what's best for you. Anthropic is best for copy, especially because you've got its 200,000 context window. You can put, it's about 360 pages input, output. You can put a lot of text into there and it will come out with it as well. Google's Gemini is now a 1 million context window. Don't forget, when we launched ChatGPT 3.5, we had 8,000 and 16,000, and that was just a year ago. So that should give you an indication how quickly things are progressing. But yes, it's really down to copy, Claude, coding, ChatGPT, research, Perplexity, Gemini. Fuck knows. I can't tell you what it's good for yet. I'm sure it will be. Google have not been sleeping on this. They're ready to really launch it. But I would echo what my brother Joshua is saying here. Do not bank against Microsoft because they've been in the doldrums for the last 10, 15 years and they are ready to take over. Google might be the sleeping giant perhaps, but I wonder if Microsoft have made the advancements. Interestingly enough, Google has invested in a hell of a lot of really small AI companies that they're all bringing together. So look, as consumers, we're the ones who truly win here. But I would just, as always, really caution what you are entering into your AI large language model, because there's massive questions over security. I think somebody there, Anna, says, what are your thoughts on security and AI? Any news in a private and secure AI system? Yeah, so for me, if you're not comfortable with it being trained with, don't input it, especially ChatGPT and things like this. We now know that ChatGPT for ChatGPT 5 is going to scrape the entire web. If you've got a website, you actually need to insert a file called robots.txt into your domain to make sure that it's unscrapable. There's all these sorts of information. Custom GPTs, I believe, are the fraud of the century. I think these are seriously, seriously poor. Security-wise, they're hackable. You can download how to hack a GPT tomorrow or right now and hack any GPT you want. They're really, really not secure because of the architecture of what an LLM is. So that would be kind of my thoughts on it. And yes, you are able to run your own private large language model on your own computer completely offline. This is entirely possible. You've got, Joshua, you might have to help me here. Is it Dolphin? I think it is. It's a 7 billion or trillion parameter LLM, and you can run it on your own computer free of the internet. You can have a large language model essentially controlling your whole computer and install it offline. So yes. That's my thoughts on it.
We did something similar with an AI, Darren, where we created a Josh.ai, right? Like for the team to be able to understand and be able to ask any questions. I mean, we're going to do that with our, I think, training are going to kind of go out the window eventually. And people are going to want to have a Darren.ai to be able to ask how to be able to leverage AI on LinkedIn, right? So like, we're going to see these kind of things kind of going through. And if you're actually putting this in and you're creating it as a GPT prompt or whatever it might be, like an agent, like, you're just giving your information away to them. So like, you're going to have to be able to pull this stuff offline. A good buddy of mine, Jeff Hunter, I mean, he did the same thing. He created this whole agent and he was getting so much thing. And then, I mean, within a day, someone took it, changed it slightly, put a name on it, and then took it away from him. I mean, that's how fast, because we can see all this information. Yeah. So like, it's like you spend all this time building this agent. Well, that's what they want you to be able to do. I mean, these are the things. Now, once we actually get to generative search, I mean, Darren, I'd love to know your understanding on this, because like for me, this is why I spend so much time really seeding the algorithm with collaborative articles on LinkedIn, because I want to show up in generative search. Now, do I want to be able to have that bot on my website so it doesn't get scraped? Because we're not going to have the same search that we used to. It's not going to be a list of links. It's going to be, this is the information from Josh's site that Darren was looking for, and it's going to provide that information to me. Like, I want to make sure I'm still showing up. It's not about blocking it. It's how am I positioning the information on my site so it shows up and highlights me at the same time.
I freaking love that. I'm not against members areas, private information. Well, if I've got trusted clients paying top dollar for that, I don't really want that to be openly available. And it seems like OpenAI promised we won't do that. They won't do it. But me personally, damn right, scrape my website, take everything. I want to appear in the generative search. I totally agree. And the collaborative articles, what pisses me off a bit here, Josh, is that collaborative articles great, but people are being lured into them for the wrong reason. They need to understand. Yeah, exactly. I'd far prefer that LinkedIn were transparent about this. There's only a few of us who do know this. I'd far rather LinkedIn were saying, hey, listen, this is going to be trained your gen search, but here, look, this is the advantages. As a solopreneur, as a business, you're going to be indexed within generative search. Google, as we know it, is dead in the next few years. So by writing collaborative articles, you're going to really get there quickly. LinkedIn's just gone past the 1 billion user mark. It put on 120 million new users in 2023. That's only going to increase. X is dead. Facebook is fucked. Let's just be honest. LinkedIn is the place if you want to make money. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've got numerous people who now have 6-figure businesses. They've not paid any not paid for any ads, purely on LinkedIn, my clients. And this is what it's able to do. So I'm totally with you. I don't have a problem with them taking the information that I've put publicly out there, because it's not a mile away from what Google does anyway. And as long as it's citing me and it's got a really clickable hyperlink next to me, I'm happy for that information to be out there. Why wouldn't we want that to be done? Very quickly as well, Yvonne, I think it was. Yvonne, hey, Yvonne, lovely to meet you, my friend. How do you protect your agent? You don't, my sister. There is prompts you can put in to try and to get it not to happen. There's certain prompts to make it act a certain way, but if somebody really wants to break it, they will break it, which is true of hacking in general. The only thing, Yvonne, is at the moment your agent's unprotected, which means that it's incredibly easy to break. Sorry to break the news. So Google how to protect my GPT agent, and you'll get some great prompts to put in there.
And a shout out to my friend Yvonne in Ottawa, who's a LinkedIn Top Voice 2024 with me, and glad she's engaging here with us. And I know, again, I'm going to bring this up again. So these guys say that they're not experts, which is fine. They're allowed to say that. But, the insights they provide today have been fantastic. I think they've learned a lot. There's some things they've said that have gone over my head. So, I mean, if you think in the audience, let's see what the audience perception is. Guys, do you guys feel that they've brought some great value? Do you feel like they have brought some expert advice around AI and ChatGPT tools? If so, put in the comments and say, yeah, these guys are experts. These guys are fantastic. So please do that, because I think they deserve the kudos. They've been really, really great with that. So
just give it a week, Bobby, and this will be, you can just search for it on ChatGPT and do the same.
Now let me. Here's a question I can answer. Why am I not seeing the comments? Well, because we're multi-streaming, right? So some people are streaming, the host page was the Thought Leaders Brand Club company page, but others are restreaming it elsewhere. I'm restreaming it on my profile, so you wouldn't see all the comments that I'm seeing the multitude of comments from across the board, and that's why I'm not seeing it. And you may not even see what's happening on Twitter or on Facebook. So that's kind of why that's there. So
can I quickly say there, Bobby? So it's really quickly. I did a quick search because it was going to bloody annoy me if I didn't. It's Mistral. Mistral is the local large language model you can install on your computer. Maybe this directs, or Llama 2 is another one that's kind of like it's kind of like the Meta open source. But here's the thing. Maybe we do discuss this, maybe not. I'm just going to drop the bomb here. This is an uncensored large language model. You want to know how to make a napalm bomb? It will quite simply tell you. It's uncensored.
It's like the dark web back in the day, right?
kind of like that, man. You just can't buy it. Well, probably can nowadays, but yeah, just can't buy it, Joshua. But yeah, it's uncensored. So that in itself, I think, raises all sorts of problems, all sorts of ethical concerns. Yeah, maybe that's a conversation for another time, though. But yes, Mistral, Mistral. Llama 2 is another good one, and Orca 2 I've heard of very good things about as well. So a little bit of tech knowledge. It's not just a case of downloading a program, clicking install, and it's working. There's a bit of nerding out there, but lots of tutorials. And certainly I would say that if you are looking to have a more secure large language model, I would say that's it. That's what to be doing.
Copilot's
not the
question
program.
here. Is Copilot the programs that automatically evolve into profiles or no?
I'm not sure what you're meaning, David, by that.
I'm not either, but like, don't use automation on LinkedIn, yo. I just had, like, Darren and Bobby and I can probably say that use automation, they catch you, you're gone. And I just had the conversation with LinkedIn about 2 weeks ago, because I don't know if y'all watched, but end of last year, I'm forgetting the guy's name right now, Paul, I believe it was, put in a avatar AI on LinkedIn. You know, a fake profile, being able to go through to be able to see how fast LinkedIn would catch it. It took them about 2 months to be able to catch it. Now they're saying they can catch it within a week. And if you look at any automation that's out there right now, like, automation updates every 24 hours. We talked about how much AI updates. Any automated software you use updates every 24 hours, trying to stay ahead of LinkedIn so you don't get caught. 2 weeks ago, I was having a conversation with them, Darren, and they said, we can actually catch it within a couple hours now because of how much they've integrated ChatGPT, OpenAI into LinkedIn. They're going to be even faster catching automation than ever before. So, like, wow, dude, it's stuff that I've learned. They haven't even released yet where they're going. Like, this is why, like, I tell everyone, like, just like you said, Darren, you better bet on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, putting content out there, going through, like, you're missing the boat. It's not about the future of business now. It's the future of business where we're going. And that's where LinkedIn's going to be, especially when you talk about the AI world and being able to get indexed, found, and heard. So, like, and dude, we could sit here and just go through crazy stuff on that, but, like, that's that whole piece. Like, yeah, I don't know what they mean. Any automatic follows, I'm like, it's probably crap anyway.
Yeah, there's a few out there, as you know, Josh. I love that, brother. Thank you. There's quite a lot of automation tools out there, some of which claim they do it in the cloud so it can't be detected. But from what you've just said there, Josh,
they're faster.
It's not real. We're talking 2 hours detection. LinkedIn hates it far more than Twitter, where you can just stick a bot on, nobody gives a damn. LinkedIn truly hates it. They have fought for genuine relationships and connections to be made throughout. And yeah, I mean, let's be honest, if you're DMing the same bloody DM message, hey Joshua, noticed that you were into AI, would be great to connect. One message, boom. Hey Joshua, what are your problems? I can help them. Boom. Here's a calendar call. This shit doesn't work anymore. It's not 2018. This isn't bro marketing where we can just launch out a million different messages, cold messages, and hope one of them lands. People are smart. The LinkedIn audience is nuanced. They're not stupid, and they can smell automation a mile away. And the same goes for the comments as well. You won't get banned necessarily for using you won't actually get banned for using automated comments. But my brothers and sisters, I can smell them a mile off, and I do call them out. I always say, thanks for that. What do you think, though? This feels very much like your AI companion. I will call it out. So yeah, people can see through them. And it comes back as well, Joshua, which is really, really interesting when it comes to AI automation, but also generation. Now, I do personally, as a content creator, I do worry about the ability for generative AI on LinkedIn. We see it on the very basic level where we've got those idiots that are just, write me a post about imposter syndrome, make it sad, and they just copy and paste. I mean, it's even worse when they leave in the speech marks. I mean, that breaks my heart, the poor person. But people are able to appear, coming back to this word, my brothers, as experts really, really easily. And that is something that I do believe that LinkedIn, Microsoft need to really think about. If everybody's suddenly an expert in their own niche, it really comes down to how can we trust anyone? And the level of trust really begins to go down. I worry there's people could be done out of thousands of dollars because they've bought into somebody's content, yet once the card's been charged and they sit on a call with this doofus, it's quite clear they don't know what they're talking about at all. So it's more difficult than ever, I think, to be able to be authentic and true. It's why I do believe mixing up content, and I feel that video has become increasingly more important because video helps to gain that trust. Live streaming especially. This shit can't be automated. It's clear we're not reading scripts here. This is us talking to our audience. Don't
What?
too early,
Yeah,
too early,
but
Bobby.
Darren, like this, the whole thing. So like I was at Traffic Convergence Summit in Vegas, and I mean, again, I love him to death, but Roland Frazier was up there talking about, well, I don't even have to do podcasts anymore because again, the AI can do it for me. And I'm like, okay, well, then I mean, it hasn't been this for a while, but content's not king anymore, right? There's so much content. We've all found ourselves on a Friday night going, man, there's nothing to watch on TV. No, there's too much to watch. And that's what's happening in this world today, right? Like we're going online. So like quality is queen. And like Darren's saying, y'all, like you have to have that human element. We're going to be able to see it. Like I've been doing this for 20 years. Guess what? I remember when everyone listening here didn't know the first 2 or 3 results on Google were paid. I made a lot of money back then, right? Before you guys figured out, oh, those are sponsored results. And then everyone caught up. And then it was the next thing, right? I've seen the ebbs and flows of human evolution. We catch up, we see, eventually go, oh, okay, they're making money on that. And it goes back down again. This is what's going to continue to be able to happen. We're going to see this with AI as well, too. So like, if you think that your ideal audience is going to be fooled by a chatbot and AI, by fake content, guess what? If they are, they're probably not a good client anyway. Like, do you really want to work with that person? If it will fool you, if it doesn't fool you, don't want the people that it would fool as well, because that's not going to be an educated client, and that's not someone you want to work with.
I want to take this. I want to take this in a different direction now. So,
yeah, sorry, we'll get off the high horse.
Listen, you guys have been rocking this. I'm just sitting around and just being a good.
We're just going to yell at each other back and forth, you know.
So sorry, Bobby, we're the worst fucking guests.
No, this is great. Well, listen, I'm not even in that. Like, I can ride a bike. You guys are flying the airplane, so that's fine. So what I would say is, I want to talk about culture, because there's a culture on LinkedIn around, for example, when someone sends you DM and it feels like it's copy paste, it's not really authentic, and they're very anti, like the pitch slapping. They hate it. The culture on other platforms are different. They're not, they don't care so as much about it. I'm curious about the culture of LinkedIn when it comes to AI, because again, I think it's very few people are still using it. Like, we have a lot of people in the comment thread who are like, they're obviously into it more than I am, which is great. But I'm curious about how that's going, because, I think people are worried that posts are going to be AI, collaborative article comments are already going to be AI. Just like they complain about engagement pods, they're going to complain about AI produced stuff. And yes, for the most part, I see collaborative articles and I can see like, oh, these are clearly generative AI. Like, it's just so obvious. But, like that they have their systems. And so I'm just curious about this. I mean, how do you feel the culture of LinkedIn is when it comes to AI and ChatGPT, like tech tools? I mean, it's an interesting evolution. I'm just curious your thoughts on this.
I think in general, there's a real wariness about it, Bobby. I think that's a brilliant question, by the way, brother. I really do. I think people are cautious. I think they're conscious. I think they all want to know. I almost get the impression, Bob, that it's like people will rail against it and yet use it themselves. So I think there's a little bit of hypocrisy when we talk about AI. I think that there's a lot of amazement and wonder, and yet at the same time, I think there's actually people just not putting in the hard yards to get good at it and actually learn how to prompt, for example, or actually learn how to use ChatGPT, or actually learn how to use DALL-E 3 or Midjourney to create decent images. I see a lot of shit being posted, and it's bad copy from ChatGPT, skyrocket your results, rocket emoji, that sort of nonsense, right? You know what I'm saying there, Josh. And the same for the DALL-E 3 images, just not very good quality, not very imaginative. So I think that people recognize it, but I think increasingly more so, as I said earlier, I feel LinkedIn is a very, and no offense to those of you watching on X or on Facebook, you bloody idiots, you mugs.
Even though I shared it over there, yeah.
But I think that LinkedIn especially is a nuanced audience. And I think that there is that, as I think it was Joshua said, I think that there is this they're happy for starters. They notice yourself, sorry, Bobby, about being pitch slapped in the culture of it. So the culture of LinkedIn, because it is more nuanced, I honestly believe that there's less tolerance for it. I also think, again, I've got a content generation bot I've built, which writes just like you do. Now, I was very, very cognizant with this. I was thinking, well, hold on, could I be part of the problem rather than the solution? Empowering idiots to generate great content as if they know something when they don't. So I very much engineered my content generation bot where you've got 3 or 4 questions to answer, and then it generates the content. Why? Because people don't like copywriting, don't know how to structure it properly, don't know how to format it. It takes all those difficulties away, but focuses on their genius. And again, people can post that. I think people are okay with it. So yeah, I do feel that there's a tolerance for it, but again, I do feel that there'll be AI fatigue, and there will come a point where every post looks exactly the same. Again, as content creators, we should be always looking to buck the trend. How does Josh think differently about me on the same topic? That's how we segment an audience. Oh, I like what Josh says, I'll go with him. I like what Darren says, I'll go with him. We can be saying the same things, but it's how we view it and how we solve it, which is different. And I think that's really, really important.
Oh. Yeah. I'll agree, Darren. I mean, it's well said, brother. And I mean, like, that's that whole piece. Like, I see in here too, Greg Walters talked about, unless it's their automation. Look, I'm telling you, you're right. I mean, like LinkedIn, the partnership with OpenAI, go to another platform. I don't care what AI out there is, and try and pull results from LinkedIn. You can't, right? They have it blocked so well on so many firewalls because they want to control the experience. They want to control every aspect of what's going on, what's happening on LinkedIn, and what's happening with AI. There's no other sites out there really, especially this size, that actually you cannot search and pull information from LinkedIn. Drop a link in there. It says denied, right? You cannot get access into their system because they want to control it. Yes, they're testing AI comments. Yes, they're testing that. But and honestly, I tried one of their AI prompts to be able to write the post. I was like, okay, they're at least going to take into effect on how their algorithm works, and I'm going to get some amazing visibility. No, they're just like everyone else. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, I put it in there. I was like, wow, this post kind of sucks, but I'm going to try it. Like, maybe I'm going to get 1 million views because AI knows exactly how to be able to LinkedIn knows how to write their own AI posts. They don't. Like, again, they're still learning. They're still going through. It will be a learning process, but what I think about it is, and Darren, you said this well too, like, with the content, what's going on, like, you have to be polarizing. You have to be able to understand, like, AI is great for that resource to be able to go through, but you want to be able to connect with people you have commonalities, right? That know, like, and trust. And AI content is not going to be able to do that. It's going to educate your audience, but it's not going to be polarized and go, wow, I like Josh because of X, but I like Darren because of Y, right? Like, and these are the differences that's going to go in. That's what's going to separate us. Like, y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, like, I get all the time, like, oh, we're in a digital revolution. Bullshit. I think we're in a human revolution. I think now more than ever, humans have more power with the AI tools than we ever had before. And as human beings, we understand how to use and leverage and position ourselves with them. We will be stronger and have more influence than ever before. This reminds me, and Darren, I mean, I know you were a teacher back then, but like Bobby, like 2008, right? Like, dude, I mean, like, it was a big shift for a lot of us, especially in the marketing space, where everyone was like, oh, well, I don't need digital marketing anymore because it wasn't as big as it is now. And so, like, dude, I was bleeding like $300K a month because people just cut their advertising budgets. I think we're in that same situation now where people like us that are understanding how to be able to use it, not let AI use us, are going to stand out better than ever, stronger than ever, and we're not going to be caught behind the noise. And I think that's the big thing that we're going to see. Like, you talk about cultures, it's going to shine through because, again, we're going to be able to I talk about those Google results, right? Like, who here actually looks at the first 3 results? You scroll down and start it, like, once it actually goes into real results. It's going to be that same thing when you talk about culture and content. We're going to skip past, our minds aren't going to be able to even see it anymore. We're going to go, oh, AI, boom, move forward. And then, oh, Darren, dude, that dude's screaming about shite and everything else. Like, I know AI is not writing this because they can't get that type of accent down yet. So, yeah.
The reason I bring up culture is because, I mean, culture is about people, and culture is often changing. And one of the things I can tell you is that from my own personal perspective, when social media first came out I became a digital influencer and I got on all the platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And I'm finding out that I can't keep up. I can't keep up. We have Web 3.0 and people are talking about NFTs and I couldn't, I was trying to dabble in that a little bit, trying to understand it. It was hard. Now we have AI and there's so many tools here. And I can't keep up. So, I think that one of the things that I've been talking about is this whole futurism concept. What's happening, what I'm seeing is that that 20% of people are really keeping up with things. And there are a larger portion of people who cannot. So we go back to the old adage, which is where, my grandfather can't program the VCR or DVD player. And now there's a large number of people who are not keeping up with stuff. I feel like I'm riding a bike, whereas you guys are flying planes or flying high-speed trains, and I'm like, man, this is I'm feeling behind. But I think there's going to be a shift there, and the reason I mentioned culture is because there's going to be three camps. There's going to be the people who are in this group that are moving forward and having a good time, and that's good. That's great. But are they helping the rest of us catch up? There's going to be the other people in the bottom 20 who are like just lying in bed and like, oh wow, I remember the day when we used to like go to people's houses and talk to them. I don't need this bullshit AI stuff. And they're and then there's the people in the middle, the 60%, and they're trying to, I don't know what they're fearful of falling behind. They're trying to keep up, like I'm trying to ride the bike, trying to catch up to that speeding train. And so that's why I bring up culture, because I think that LinkedIn and other platforms too, how it's going to evolve. We have to have this conversation. That's why typically last year when I did all the live streams for the TLB Club, I would only do topics that I knew about and bring in other fellow experts. This time I'm like, okay, I don't know much about this. Let me bring these guys who are totally into it. And I think the conversation has been really, really great. So, I want to make sure we're at the hour, and I'm not sure how long you guys can stick around. You may have to go. But I do want to give you guys a chance to, again, make sure you follow these guys. I'd love for you to maybe, they took their time, guys. People who are commenting, they've taken the time to be here. Maybe you can pitch your business or services. Start with you, Josh. How can people follow you? How can they connect with you? How can they work with you?
I mean, dude, I never want to pitch anyone. I don't want to ever sell anyone. Like I want to, if I,
I want to pitch you. I want to pitch you.
I know. Right? I mean, like for me, it's like if I can educate, inspire, and draw people and they choose they want to work with, like that's more powerful. Like if I got to sell someone, like that's exhausting for both people. But I mean, like, dude, just like all of us here, like it's how do we actually, be able to help and educate people, audiences. For me, I'm blessed. I get to work with amazing human beings to be able to help them build advocates first and allow that byproduct become clients. I mean, that's what we do on LinkedIn, right? We actually help build advocates. Advocates are so much more powerful. And like, if you want to be able to connect with me, like, I want to know, like, if you're in tune in because of Bobby, like the best way for any of us to know about the other person is to hear about them through someone else's eyes and ears, right? So like, connect with me and send me a message like, dude, I follow, Bobby all the time because of X, Y, and Z. Like, right. Like that. Or I love Darren because like, dude, that builds a better relationship for these guys with me and them. So like, that's it. Like LinkedIn's amazing. Be able to go through them. I'm not going to sing it to one of my courses. I'm not going to sing it to a free download. Like just follow it. I mean, follow me, follow Bobby. Hell, if you want to learn about AI, I'm going to say you right now. Like I know a lot, dude. Darren just blew the top off of everything. I mean, like his depth of knowledge is phenomenal. So I'm on the AI side of how do we have humans who we use it. Darren, you're on another level, brother, and I appreciate it.
Wow. Jeez, I'm a little bit, the first time I've been lost for words in a while, Josh. Thank you, my brother. I can appreciate that. Much like for me, much like what Joshua just said. Well, first of all, Bobby, you talked about you're riding the bike. You feel like we're flying ahead. We all feel further behind than we actually are. But I think for anybody listening, just make sure you're not sitting on your ass on the ground, picking your nose and saying this will pass. This is just a fad. This shit isn't a fad. Crypto, NFTs, I can see that. But AI is not a fad. Imagine AI stopped tomorrow. All research, all development stopped tomorrow. We'd all still be using ChatGPT, Midjourney, Perplexity, Gemini, everything else, right? This is not going away. So I think it's imperative that as those of us who are solopreneurs, SMB owners, you don't have to become experts. Let people like myself and Joshua do all the nerding out and all the testing. People like Matt Wolf, the amazing Matt Wolf, follow him. Pick what you like, what resonates with you and could be relevant to your life, to your business, whether it be personal or professional, and play around with it and test it. Follow some AI influencers. I mentioned some great ones earlier on. And yeah, follow me. I do LinkedIn and I do AI stuff. If you like what I've got to say and you don't mind swear words, then give me a follow. That's absolutely fine. As I mentioned, I've got my content generation bot. But yeah, best ways to do that or my newsletter, darrengibb.com. But that's it. I've just really, I don't mind being humble at all. And Bobby, it's always a bloody pleasure to be with you, my brother. I thank you for inviting me on here. And I just love what you've brought to this are just human questions that I think us AI nerds can sometimes forget about. Joshua, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to spend time with you. I love your thinking. I love the way you view things. And I love you connecting that human side to it as well. So really, I'm just, wouldn't be a wee bit imposter syndrome almost, I'd even say. You know, I feel very honored to be in between you two handsome bastards, so I do. And also the audience as well. Thank you so much. My God, we've had over 100 comments in here. Thank you so much. The questions, the ideas, the opinions. We may not have got through them all, but I know I've noticed Joshua obviously reading them. I know Bobby's been reading them, so thank you. If you've spent a minute, 60 minutes, or just a second here with us, it still blows my mind. People tune in to watch us chatting about what we love. So thank you, everyone, really.
And just some final housekeeping things, guys. I mean, thank you all for being here. Follow the Thoughts Brand Club. We have a Zoom call on Thursday, tomorrow, 10 a.m. with Kamal Kapotter. You can join that. There's links in the different feeds. You can DM me if you want to be part of it. We love to have training. We do every Thursday. We bring in these guest expert speakers to train us for 10, 20 minutes, share some knowledge. And actually, Joshua and Darren have both actually done stuff for us last year. And if you become a TLB member, you can get access to all the masterclass we've had with these guys and everybody else, including like John Asperian and Judy Fox and lots of other amazing people, Brenda Meller. So make sure you check that out. We'd love to have people join us as members. And also the other thing that's happening tomorrow is I did an audio room yesterday. I was talking with my top 10 insights from Richard Vanderboom's latest algorithm research insights report. I shared my first 5. I'm going to share my other 5 stuff in the room tomorrow. So if you want to come by and hear my thoughts, where I definitely have some expertise versus today's conversation, I will definitely share that information. And finally, if you're looking to do a TEDx talk this year to build your brand, to get more speaking gigs, to get more media opportunities, to double your business and charge higher fees, a TEDx talk is a flagship to personal branding, your storytelling, and your thought leadership. So I'm running my masterclass intensive. It's starting in March. Ping me, DM me, and I can talk to you about what it entails and what it's all about and what you're going to get out of the 6-month program, where I guarantee you land a TEDx talk this year in writing. So that's something to think about. With that, guys, make sure you check the comments. You can also, after watching the replay, you can check the comments. You can tag us and try to engage us and ask more questions. You totally can. With that, I want to thank Darren. I want to thank Josh. You guys have been amazing. Next month, we're going to talk about amazing women leaders for Women's History Month. We typically do the live streams on the third Tuesday or Wednesday of the month. So it's going to be next month from then. Although I did see the comment about when's part 2 of this, and maybe we have a part 2. Maybe again, if I can drag these guys into my Zoom calls once again, and if they will be so kind, I will try to do that, and maybe they can talk about not everything, but maybe 1 or 2 things. Because you brought up all this stuff that I want to know about, like that I didn't know anything about Jasper. I didn't know anything about Runway ML. I didn't know about Copilot. So thank you. Have yourself a wonderful week, guys, and I'll see you out there. Take care.
Bye, everyone.